Class 12th, Subject Business Studies, Chapter 5th, Organizing, Lecture number 10. Hello students. In our last lecture, we have read about formal and informal organizations, advantages and limitations. In this lecture, we shall study about the difference between formal and informal organization. So let's start. Difference between formal and informal organization. First of all, meaning. You all know that in formal organization, structure of authority relationships created by the management. Management deliberately created this structure of authority to achieve the objectives of the organization. Fine. And in informal organization, network of social relationships arising out of interaction among employees. Means there are social relationship network which emerge as a result of the interaction among employees within the organization. Fine. So in simple language, if we say that formal relationships or organizations are created by top management deliberately, and informal organizations, relationships arising out of employees. Means under informal organization, the employee will be the part of that group that he likes, whose thinking and views are matched with the individual. Fine. So it is depend upon the wish of the individual which group he wants to join. Fine. Which type of informal group. If he is a part of formal organization, he can be the part of informal groups willingly. Fine. Next base is origin. It is the outcome of rules and policies. Formal organization arises as a result of company's rules and policies. And informal organization arises as a result of social interactions. You know, in formal organization, rules, regulations and policies are developed and created by top management, and they expect everyone to follow that rules and policies, because it is the duty and responsibility of the individual who is the part of formal organization to follow that rules and policies created by top management. Fine. And in informal organization, it arises as a result of social interaction. Fine. Because it is an outcome of social interaction amongst the employees beyond work issues. Employees in informal organization don't talk about the work. They talk about the personal views. They talk about the social views. So the difference between formal and informal organization on the basis of origin is formal organization arises as a result of company's rules and policies, and informal organization arises as a result of social interaction. Fine. Next one is behavior. It is influenced by the rules of the organization. In formal organization, the behavior is influenced by the rules of the organization, and under informal organization, there is no behavior pattern, because because there are no set rules to behave in particular group, basically if they are in informal organization. Fine. So if we say that about the behavior of the employees is set because it is about the rules, it is according to the rules set by management. And in informal organization, employees are free to talk to everyone who is the part of that informal group. Next one is flow of communication. Formal organization, the communication takes place through the well-defined chain of command, that is scalar chain. You know about scalar chain? In which one subordinate is supposed to take order from one superior only. So, under formal organization, the communication takes place through the well-defined chain of command. Fine. Through scalar chain we can say. And under informal organization, the communication does not necessarily follow any pattern and can take place in any direction. Because there are no foundations, no rules and regulations, so everybody is supposed to express their own views and ideas. Fine. So this is about flow of communication. Next one is nature. Formal organization is rigid in nature, means it is not flexible. Once the rules are prepared, the rules are made and applied in the organization by the top management, nobody is supposed to oppose that rules. They have to follow the rules. Employees have to follow the rules. They have to work according to the rules and foundations created by the management. And in informal organization, it is flexible in nature because employees are free to do anything. They are free to talk to anybody they want. Right? Next one is leadership. Managers are leaders by the virtue of their position in the organization. Because managers have their own position in the organization, so they are leaders. Under informal organization, it is the choice of the group to whom they are making leaders, to whom they want to be the leader of that group, because there are no restrictions over it. Fine. So formal organizations expect the managers to be the leader, that they are already on the position of the manager in the organization, like to be in organizational chart. And under informal organization, the person chosen as the leader by the group. Fine. Group choose a leader, that who will be the leader of that group, and definitely it is about the choice of everyone, according to everyone. Fine. So these were the differences of formal and informal organization. Now our next topic is delegation. What do you mean by delegation, beta? Delegation refers to transfer of authority from a superior to a subordinate. In simple word, when a superior shared his responsibility and authority to his subordinate, it is called delegation. जब कोई सुपीरियर जो है अपने सबॉर्डिनेट को अपना थोड़ा सा काम जो इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है, जो इम्पोर्टेंट है वो उसको खुद को करना है, सुपीरियर को खुद करना है, अपने आप करना है, और जो सबॉर्डिनेट को थोड़ा सा काम जो इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है लेकिन करना है उसे दे देता है, तो उस प्रोसेस को बोलते हैं डेलीगेशन. फाइन. The entrustment of responsibility and the creation of accountability for performance which helps a manager to extend the area of operation. Because if a manager is doing all the work by himself, all the work himself, he will not be able to give his 100% to every work. And if he divided the responsibilities, some of the responsibilities to his subordinate, then the work that are left with him, he can do good for that work. He can give his best to that type of authority. Isn't it so? So we can see here his activities would be restricted to only what he himself can do. Understood the definition of delegation? Delegation refers to transfer of authority from a superior to the subordinate, the entrustment of responsibility, and the creation of accountability. Authority, responsibility, and accountability. Three things are there. These three are elements of delegation. Fine. So delegation means the process in which a manager follows in dividing the work assigned to him so that he perform that part which only has unique organizational placement. He can perform better there and he can get others to help with what is left with him. Fine. In simple language, we can see delegation. It is the process by which a manager shares some of his work and authority with his subordinates. If a manager shares some of his work and authority with his subordinates, that process is called delegation. In this process, the manager can do the vital part of the work that needs his presence, and he can left other work that is not so much important but is to be done by him to his subordinates so that they can do their work perfect and the manager can give 100% to the work that has been assigned to him. Fine. So this is the definition of delegation. Now, according to Theo Hammond, delegation of authority merely means the granting of authority to subordinates. Granting means giving to operate within prescribed limits. Subordinates are always ready to do the authority, to perform the authority, to make the responsibility, to see the responsibility given by the manager to them. But it is based upon that they have to perform their best. They have to do their best in the type of authority and responsibility set by superior to them. Fine. So they have, what does it mean that they have to operate within the prescribed limit? Means whatever the work is given by the superior to subordinates, the subordinates are supposed to do that work, but within the prescribed limit. They have to perform best but within the prescribed limit. Fine. So delegation, basically the entire process of delegation involves the determination of results expected, the assignment of tasks, and the delegation of authority for accomplishment of these tasks and the fulfillment of responsibility for the accomplishment. Fine. So without effective delegation, it will be almost impossible for an organization to function. Delegation of authority is based on elementary principle of division of work. It means that however efficient a person may be, but still he cannot carry the entire organization single-handedly. He needs more and more person in his organization to perform their work in the best way. So whenever a person is appointed in an organization with respect to a particular job position, he has to be given sufficient authority as well. It is important to understand that the delegated authority can be taken by the superior if he so desires. Fine. So now the elements of delegation. There are three elements of delegation: authority, responsibility, and accountability. Authority means the right take certain decisions, the right to take certain decisions and actions that lie within the some positions in the organization. Means it also means the power to tell people what they need to do and expect them to do it. Fine. That means authority. Responsibility refers to obligation of a subordinate to carry out assigned tasks. Fine. So responsibility is the duties and activities assigned to a position or an executive. Fine. And what do you mean by accountability? Accountability refers to answerability of an employee with respect to the work for which he has been made responsible. So, authority is the power or right to give orders. Responsibility refers to obligation of subordinate to carry out the assigned task, and accountability is the obligation to report formally to his superior. Accountability is the obligation of an individual to report formally to his superior. Fine. So these all are the elements of delegation. Authority, responsibility, and accountability. If an organization wants to work best in the best way, definitely it has to be followed by all that there will be proper balance between authority and responsibility, and there will be proper balance between responsibility and accountability as well. Because if we have given some person the authority and we have not given him the responsibility, definitely that person is not accountable to do the work that we have assigned to him. So if we have authority and responsibility plays equal role in the organization. Fine. If we have given some responsibility to some person, it is very much necessary for us to give authority to that person to complete that particular task. For an example, if we have given some responsibility to some worker that to produce these 500 cycles within a 1 month, fine. And if the tools to produce that cycle are not left with him, so it is our duty to give him the authority to take that tools from the storeroom. And if he has not completed the given task within 1 month that is given by the manager, in that phase, that person is not accountable for the not completion of the task. In that case, only manager is accountable for not completion of the task, because he has given the subordinate the responsibility but not the authority to requisite the tools from the storeroom. So accountability is also necessary. So there should be proper balance between authority and responsibility, and there should be proper balance between responsibility and accountability. All should go side by side. Fine. So all these elements are very much necessary for the process of delegation. Fine. So now your homework is you have to read and learn basically all these topics whatever we have done till now of this chapter. Fine. Note down in your notebook. In our next lecture we will discuss about authority, responsibility and accountability thoroughly. Fine. And beta, you have to do your work sincerely. Send me your homework on daily routine. Fine. In our next lecture, we will study about these terms: authority, responsibility and accountability. So you have to read it, learn it and note down in your notebook.